If you haven't been keeping up, the past few months, my boyfriend has sent me on a quest to Nuzlocke my way through the Pokemon series. With 3 games under my belt, he decided I was finally ready for phase 2 of his grand master plan. As it turns out, my past playthroughs have all been part of an elaborate scheme to get me to play a 2-player Nuzlocke with him called a Soul Link.
Alright, Tarn. Are you a boy or girl?
Oh, I'm most definitely girl. Soul Link is a cooperative form of Nuzlocke where you follow similar rules, but with the twist of having a partner that you're linked to.
A world of dreams and adventures awaits, Tarn.
On top of all of that, everything is randomized as well.
I forgot
what even is that?
That's for alligator.
For alligator. When you encounter a Pokemon, it has the chance of being any of the 386 Pokemon that exist in this generation. As I'd come to find out, that can be extremely cool when it comes to Pokemon we can catch, but extremely dangerous for the Pokemon we have to battle. Camper Jeff has an Entei. Now, if I thought there were lots of rules to keep track of before, there are even more now. All the previous Nuzlocke rules still apply, but with some added spice to make things cooperative. Okay, I'm going first.
Yeah, you go first.
I'm gonna see what the middle one is.
You're gonna go middle? Okay. A ladybug.
A ladybug. You got a Swablu?
I got a Swablu.
I wanted one so bad.
Alright, where are we going next, Taryn?
I'm going to the right one.
I got a Cascoon. That's a pretty good one for you, though. And last one.
Miltank? You got a Delibird?
Oh my god, Taryn.
Each encounter we get is linked to each other, meaning that if one of my Pokemon dies, whatever it's linked to on his team is also dead. Starting with the starters, we take turns for who gets the first encounter, because we also have to make sure that there is only one of each primary typing on either of our teams.
Yeah, you could either go with Miltank or Eevee, and then I have to pick Delibird or Cascoon. If I pick Swablu, then you can't pick 2 of your starters, you have to pick the Ladybug. So I feel like I should go with Delibird.
Oh, okay. Are you willing to do that sacrifice?
He's ice flying.
That's really cool.
He's super weak, but
oh shit.
Look at him!
He's so cute!
I'll take my chances with the bird so Taryn can have an Eevee.
Eee!
This could end horribly. Let's do it.
It's giving me so much confidence.
You know what? I kind of need to play on hard mode anyways. That's just the way it goes,
Do
right?
you though? For the wild encounters, we decided to take a step further with the added twist that our pairs are wedlocked, insofar as that for each pair, if one Pokemon is a boy, then he has to meet a girl.
My main means of dealing damage also heals the opponent at the moment. So I guess you could say some things aren't okay. Some things leave... There's something to be desired with my starter Pokemon.
So basically, this whole playthrough has the same stakes as a regular Nuzlocke, but with the added stress of not trying to kill all my boyfriend's favorite Pokemon.
Man, I'm already in the next town, and you're over there with Mom. What are you doing, girl?
I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay, well.
God, if I thought just playing Nuzlocke was stressful, I did not even know that playing with you rushing me was going to be even more stressful. After delivering the Pokeballs to Oak, we were finally able to get our first encounter. It was also a good opportunity to see how well I remembered the rules. Since he let me pick the starter, it was his turn to see what we'd find.
I'm gonna push into the grass for my first encounter.
Ooh, what you gonna get?
I need something to replace this goddamn Christmas bird. It's another normal type.
Oh god, so that can't count?
We can't add it without taking away Eevee, but that's okay.
Wait, but I'm confused because I already have a normal type. That means that...
So these guys have to get boxed, this pair. This is my encounter that I can catch for the Nuzlocke.
Oh.
But our team that we roam with cannot have both of them because we would have 2 normal types.
Ooh.
I'm going to heal this bird. Nope, okay, cool. Don't kill it, please. Taryn, I killed this swallow.
You just fainted, so I have to just ditch Ponyta.
Yeah, sorry. I realize now that it was a Ponyta.
I've never encountered a Ponyta before.
I'm feeling a little guilty. So I'm just gonna walk to the next town over.
Unsure of whether this was getting our bad luck out of the way or going to set the tone for the playthrough, we continued on to Viridian City.
Hey, there's a bunch of encounters here at the beginning of the game though, so brighten up, we're gonna be okay.
We dusted ourselves off because it was time to get our next encounter.
You get this one this time, Taryn.
Yeah.
And I will just throw a ball.
Thank you.
Because I do not like having only a bird that can heal.
If we could just manage to not knock out every encounter we find, we just might make it through this. What's it gonna be? A Cyndaquil!
that's so good. Yo. Hello.
Ooh.
Zatu. I got a lot of flying types on my team.
And that's okay though, because he's psychic, so it's different, right?
Yeah, it's the primary typing that can't match.
We finally had a new pair to add to the team. With the positive momentum, we are feeling good going into our next encounter.
All right, Tarn.
Are you
ready
healed up
for
and
this?
everything?
I hope so.
I
I'm
am
about
ready
to-
for this.
Just you wait, Taryn, okay?
Okay, I'm waiting.
You know what? I'm going to my lucky patch of grass, okay?
Okay.
Here's my lucky patch. It's right here. Right here. Yes! Look, I stepped right into... Are you kidding me?
Into the box they go. We had one last chance to encounter something that not only could we use, but was also good. What's it gonna be?
Beautifly.
A
Male
beautifly.
Beautifly, so it's a bug type. And I get a Vibrava. Oh, but it's male. That would have been cool.
I feel like I should find something else. Because I like your thing better.
Well, that's not how it works.
Oh, it's you have to match whatever I've.
Yeah, that's why we take turns. Maybe it's a female? Yeah, it's a female!
Is that bug though?
No,
What is
it's a
it?
ground dragon.
A ground dragon. Wait, does that turn into the... That's gonna be such a good one. With a team of 3, we set out on our way to Pewter City and our eventual fight with Brock. We naturally dove into the classic method of leveling up by fighting the trainers. However, we quickly realized that this walk through Viridian Forest may be the most dangerous one we'd ever make.
Okay, here we go. First trainer battle. What you got, kid? Please, God, don't send out like a Groudon or something right now. Oh, he's got a Jinx. Psychic Ice. Wait a minute. I was just talking about the ice weakness. Every day is a battle for me right now.
Every day is a battle.
Fortress. Uh-oh.
Oh god.
Will this Fortress explode?
After the first bug kid had completely walled in with his fortress, we switched to a different strategy, tiptoeing around every trainer we could because our fledgling teams were not fit for this harsh world.
I'm honestly gonna like walk my ass back out of the forest and heal already because
Yeah.
that was so goddamn difficult.
That was one bug kid.
I know. This is like the real deal, Taryn.
Each fight felt like life or death, and a horrific realization hit me with the force of a speeding truck. You know all the bug kids that usually have like 4 Weedles? Yeah, they still had 4 Pokemon, but they sure as hell weren't Weedles.
Oh, we're gonna be here a while.
After quite the treacherous walk through Viridian Forest, we could only imagine what our first gym battle with Brock had in store for us.
My rock hard rocks will rock hard your Pokemon rock types. You're gonna lose to my rocks. Let's go.
You lied.
What's he got? Yeah, he doesn't have rock types. Wait a minute. What's going on here? A Poochyena. Oh, I'm so scared.
Who would have thought that a bug kid would have been a harder fight than the gym leader? But what do I know? What am I worrying about?
We did it. We got our first badge.
We got our first badge. It was not what we were expecting, but it was a battle.
Yep.
All in all, we'd been due for an easier battle after the gauntlet we faced in the forest, but we had to appreciate the easy battles while they lasted. With the randomizer, I was quickly learning that you never know what's waiting around the corner. Magnitude 9!
Oh my god.
Even with our first badge, we were still struggling to keep our heads above water.
Like, I feel like every battle
It's life or death.
feels like I almost lost the lock.
Yeah.
I feel very vulnerable
Yeah.
with my current setup.
We still needed some serious firepower if we had any hope of collecting all 8 gym badges.
We need like a good, powerful pair. We've got 2 encounters. Actually, we have 3 encounters coming up, so make sure you don't spend all your money. Make sure you have at least 500 Pokédollars.
Oh, I don't have enough. The good news is we had encounters coming up, and with our luck, at least one of them would be a new pair we could add to the team.
Shit, I just stepped in the grass. Is this my encounter? Was I next or were you next? You did Viridian Forest. This is my encounter. I got a male Cradilly. It's a rock grass type. So rock type, hey.
A Pelipper.
Female Pelipper. That's a water type.
Water
flying. Yes.
Yes.
Paid an outrage at $500 for Metro. I got a Talo.
I got a Pikachu!
Okay.
I got a
A
Psyduck.
Psyduck. Okay, female Psyduck. Oh, it's a Slowking, but it's a water type, isn't it? So they can't be paired. That would have been so good. Oh.
Can I just get a different one?
No, you went first, boo. It's okay. There could be something better around the corner. You never know.
That's true.
A Gligar.
That's cool, male.
Okay, I got a Gligar.
Yeah, you have a Gligar.
Ground flying type. Oh, but Goggles is ground. Damn. Well, I guess water. All right, we're gonna have to figure our stuff out once we're out of this cave.
After playing musical chairs with all our available pairs, this was the best team we could come up with. He was severely lacking in coverage, so although boxing my Eevee hurt, getting Delibird off his team was for the best. With the new squad dialed in, we carved our path through Mount Moon.
I could have gotten a Venusaur! That would have been so cool.
So far this playthrough, I've had much better luck than him with the randomization.
Master Ball.
Master Ball!
Well, if Taryn finds a legendary, she's set now.
I am set.
The thing is, it wasn't just our Pokemon and items either. He also kept running into really tough trainer battles.
What's next? Kingdra?
Kingdra.
Oh no.
Against the odds, we eventually made it out of Mount Moon. And with our next encounter, it seemed like we'd finally found a stroke of good luck.
I got a Starmie.
Oh my god.
This was exactly the firepower we were looking for. It's a shame we had to drop a pair to make this new one work, but as far as I'm concerned, Dimple is non-negotiable. Unfortunately, the luck didn't extend to his next rival battle.
Oh wow, this is ironic. Tyranitar. What am I to do? Hit it with a water gun, I guess? But it's gonna have bite. Oh. Okay. Let's hit it with water gun and see what happens. I'm already low health enough. I can't risk the bite. I don't really have an option though, do I? Try recover. Let's just see what happens. Okay. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Or I sand attack him. He probably outspeeds me though, right?
So maybe heal the...
Goggles is gonna go down either way. I could try healing Starmie and then going for water gun and then hoping that it does more than half so that when I go for the second water gun, he doesn't... It finishes him.
I feel like that might be
I should have done that from the start instead of recover. But if I hadn't recovered, I would have just died. So I don't know. So I heal Starmie.
Yeah.
And I lose the bug. I don't really see another way out, though. Okay, there goes Goggles.
Bye, Goggles.
God, that sucked. I still don't see a way out of this. Starmie's gonna have to hit really hard. Oh, that's not helpful. Okay. All we have is water gun. Yeah, that's not more than half. Okay. We got lucky there. I don't know why he didn't just bite me, but we'll take it. We might be able to get him down. There's the bite. Okay. Is the sandstorm going to take me out? Sandstorm's probably going to take me out if I go for the kill. Okay, maybe not. It looked like it only did 3 damage. So I can Moo Milk, but depending on what he has, I might be able to just switch out, actually. A Quillfish. It's water poison. I mean, we just have to go out to Ace. So I think it's better to just
Get this
finish
guy
it,
out.
and then we can sack Ace or Starmie, depending on what comes out.
Right.
We miss. Okay. That's really bad.
Oh my god.
We missed our wing attack because of all the evasion. Now we're in a really bad spot, because if Ace misses, he'll finish off Ace. But I have to commit. Okay, Ace does hit.
Okay.
Now we just have to see what comes out.
Yeah.
We have to make a decision. Wingull.
It's water or flying, right?
Yeah. So I feel like I should go out to Starmie and just heal Starmie.
Yeah.
Starmie has Recover. So I'll use Recover. Surely that thing can't knock me out. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is just keep recovering and let the sandstorm chip him
Yeah.
until I get an opening where I can safely attack. Okay, I'm going to go for Swift. Oh, I lost my favorite guy.
I'm sorry.
You know you're in a bad spot when even a Wingull is causing you this much trouble. With the loss of our first pair, it quickly became obvious how bad we were hurting for some muscle on the squad. As good of a catch as Starmie was, since she was a stone evolution, her moveset left something to be desired to say the least. Goggles the Vibrava was a great loss, as it was thanks to her that he got through Mount Moon. The good news was that if we could limp our way over Nugget Bridge, there were some fresh encounters waiting for us. We just had to hope that there was something good hiding in the tall grass.
What am I gonna get?
No, it's a fire type though.
Shit!
Seriously?
I can't.
Even though adding Ho to the team meant that we'd have to give him my Kolava, there was just no way I could pass up the opportunity to have a legendary Pokemon.
This is the fight of Pikachu's life, boo.
Pikachu just sat there and let his trainer throw a ball.
I can't believe I got a legendary. Oh my god, I'm so glad that I had that Master Ball.
Not to put a damper on the celebrations, but as we'd both soon find out, Magneton was the actual powerhouse in this new pair. Unfortunately, Generation 3 has notoriously bad movesets on the Pokemon. Part of what is to blame is that when Pokemon are fully evolved, they will usually learn moves at much later levels in their pre-evolved forms. The consequences of playing a randomizer is that the two of us were encountering fully evolved Pokemon at like level 5, but with absolutely horrible movesets. Usually you can make up for this with TMs, but the bad news is we had the bright idea of randomizing those as well.
What TM? Oh my god, wait, it's Water Pulse, so what is it gonna be?
She gave me Tackle.
Is that what it was? TM03?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not great.
So what does this have to do with Ho-Oh? He doesn't even evolve. Well, for whatever reason, Ho-Oh's learn set in this gen is absolutely atrocious. Just look at this chart with me. Like seriously, who decided to make this nonsense? Barring the fact that he gets a new move every 11 levels for reasons, are you seriously telling me I don't get a fire move until level 44? I basically will never have the opportunity to use Sacred Fire with him, let alone an attack as simple as Swift.
I need to get some fire moves for this boy.
All in all, there is a silver lining to all of this. Fortunately, it goes both ways, and we're not the only ones subjugated to bad movesets. The NPCs have to play by the same rules we do, and that was confirmed only a few trainer battles later.
I don't know, I've never actually looked at the moveset for Gen 3 before. It's kind of ridiculous. You learn Future Sight at 99. Like, what?
What?
Why?
Oh my god. Lugia,
Okay,
just
well,
water or?
With any luck, no, Lugia is Psychic Flying. With any luck, Lugia has just as shit a moveset as Ho-Oh turn.
Probably.
Yeah, Whirlwind, Safeguard, and Gust, so I think you can just stay in with Dimple. It'll be resisted, but it won't be able to do much to you.
This chick has a Lugia!
The good news is, regardless of all of that, it was still a Ho-Oh. And even with only Gust, he was still a force to be reckoned with. Keeping with the same trend as Brock, Misty had some very underwhelming Pokemon and didn't pose much of a challenge. Not to mention, access to Cut opened up a ton of new encounters for us before our next battle was Surge. That meant it was time for a little team makeover.
Oh my
They're
god.
both rocks.
Wait, but they're both rocks!
Ugh. Alright, I got a re-encounter. I got a Yanma, and it's female. That is a bug. Feraligatr!
Feraligatr!
That's a good one.
That is a good one, but
Miltank and Croconaw.
isn't he water? And you have Starmie?
Yeah. Okay, well, that is a pair. It's a Trico,
A Trico.
a grass type.
Suddenly, the two of us were walking around with a pretty big confidence boost. I guess having more than 2 usable Pokemon in your party will have that effect. Either way, we marched right up to Surge's front door for another easy victory, since in this timeline, all the Kanto gym leaders are complete pushovers.
A Squirtle.
A Groudon.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, how's that feel?
Wait, so I'm trying to remember. He's ground or fire?
He's ground.
So I'm gonna switch over to Seal.
Oh, but if he gets the boost, that could be bad. Okay, yeah, so he could, and he got the Omni boost. That's not good. Okay, we gotta think about this one. Because Palmer getting up a Leech Seed would be huge.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's tricky. There's no real good way to get a safe switch in, so Popsicle's kind of in a tough spot.
Because that means someone has to die for him to get in.
Yeah, we have to get him in safely.
Yeah.
I think you just heal for right now. Let's just heal and see how much a boosted Ancient Power is going to do. Yeah, he's just going to keep spamming it. Or he'll just crit.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, we lost Popsicle and Shamrock. No!
Shamrock!
Okay, so
Popsicle.
I would go out to Palmer and try to
Yeah.
seed. Okay. Okay. That's huge.
That is huge.
And now I would heal. I would heal Palmer.
Yeah.
There's the crit. Okay, well.
Oh my god.
He's still seated at least. I guess it's just... Oh, but Dimpo's not full health.
Well, he would. I would.
We should have
then I would
healed
be on the
Dimple.
background.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Let's get him out of here.
What comes next? It's a water type, so it's not like Ho is gonna be... Thank God you're so overleveled. Yeah, there you go. Man, I liked Shamrock. I'm gonna miss Shamrock.
I know.
Oh, and that was our water, like, ice pair. That was cool.
That was cool.
Of course he had a Groudon.
Okay, I know things look kind of bleak considering I just lost half our team to one Pokemon battle, but the good news is it's about to be Encounter City.
Okay, well, I mean, the only silver lining... Well, there is a silver lining, I guess, which is we can go get some more encounters.
Once we get to Lavender Town, Encounter Paradise opens up for the two of us. All we had to do was make it through Rock Tunnel.
Just don't want to, like, get too far away from it. What are we gonna get?
Oh my god!
so
A little baby bug!
I love him.
Oh my god.
What is it with you and the legendaries?
Is this electric?
Yeah, that's a really cool pair.
There was just one small problem. Neither of us remembered to bring Flash. As far as he was concerned, the only thing worse than stumbling around in a dark cave filled with randomized trainers was the thought of having to backtrack for a garbage HM move. So we pressed onwards. Luckily, I'm linked to the world's best tour guide. He claims to know this cave inside and out, so for both our sakes, I hope he knows where he's going.
Yeah, because once we get to Lavender Town, we're going to have Celadon City, Pokemon Tower, the Eevee in Celadon City, the Game Corner encounter, the route between Celadon and Saffron and Lavender. Saffron, we're going to have like so many encounters we can get. So it's like we take a break for lunch, go get a shit ton of encounters, and then we'll be like, all right, how we feeling? But it involves us getting through here. So go down to like right here. Now go over.
Speaking of garbage HM moves, it was around this time that we realized randomizing TMs was a mistake. We thought that it would give us the opportunity to potentially get a crazy good move on a fun Pokemon, but what we didn't consider was that there are way more shitty TMs than good ones. Which really doesn't help when the game is throwing everything it has at you.
Are you kidding me? This Picnicker pulling out the King of the Sea?
Cast form a ghost?
No, it's a normal type.
Oh, okay.
Its type changes with the weather. Alright, Tesla, this is what you've been training for. You just hit level 30. You got this. Get him out. I'm so done with all these legendaries, Taryn.
Regardless, we made it through the rock tunnel and were finally able to access a ton of new encounters. Unfortunately, Paradise was a lie, as it all amounted to mostly nothing. Ugh! Can we not just get something we can use? Everybody into the box.
Okay, that didn't really go how I was hoping it would. Route 7, Taryn. My time to shine, right? So we got a nice patch of grass here. I'm just going for it. I got no lucky patches of grass. Like I'm just running. I already have that.
You already have that.
So don't play games with me, because I already have one of those. I did my time.
Yep.
Show me something cool. Yes! Yes! Okay! Redemption! Oh! It's a dragon type. Ooh. Dragon Psychic pair.
Interesting.
We'd have to drop Dimple.
Dimple.
Rising from the ashes of failure, there was a diamond in the rough. Of all the pairs we encountered during our catch-a-thon, Latias and Kadabra were the biggest game changer. The hardest part was finding room for them on our roster.
Alright. I think we're in like a position currently where we need to do like a major team overhaul.
Yeah.
And if we don't, I don't know if we're going to be able to finish the game.
It was time for me to make a hard decision. Understandably, my boyfriend wanted to add his first legendary to the team. The problem was his Latias was linked to my Kadabra, who was a psychic type. That meant I would have to put my beloved Dimple in the box.
Jafar could be the new Dimple for you.
Yeah.
He just hits hard.
Now, Dimple and Asterix were a solid pair, but the lack of TMs made Starmie a liability. There are so many water types to choose from, so freeing up that slot gave us a lot more team diversity.
So we still have lots of water, because you need a water person, right?
I do. I mean, I can teach Surf to several of these Pokemon eventually, once we get Surf.
After building out our new team, I almost immediately and completely unnecessarily lost my Dusclops and his Exeggutor. He wasn't too broken up about it though, so no harm done.
I didn't see what he's switching to. Damn it. You're always doing this, Taryn.
That one was not my fault.
It was so my fault.
A Moltres! Yeah, that would have been a good thing to switch out on. Oh no.
We did some Team Rocket stuff and challenged Erica, who followed the trend of being easier to beat than a youngster.
Yeah.
Don't you remember the grass type Wingull?
Certainly not a grass type.
After curb stomping her, our next encounter was at Pokemon Tower.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
You've gone up against so many of those!
I'm feeling good about this one. This is meant to be. Show me this meant to be. Oh, it's in a luxury ball! Oh!
Ooh.
Metacham. I think that's
Is it
psychic.
fighting?
Oh, it's fighting psychic.
She's cool.
This was just the confidence boost we needed.
Look at this thing. Oh my god.
Things are looking up. Things are looking up.
Things are looking up around here.
They've been dicey. It's been an uphill battle, but things are looking up.
Rock and Fighting were both types neither of us had, and all of a sudden, our team was starting to fill out.
Taryn, we have an actual team all of a sudden.
I know.
I don't know when it happened, but we have an actual.
I'm so
Good
excited. Like, it's about damn time.
Finally, with some muscle in our team, the game started feeling fun again.
Taryn, I feel like the past couple times we played has been like the trial by fire, and like we've now entered the era. I feel like this is the first night in a long time where I haven't been stressed out to do this with you.
A diverse group of team members went a long way to covering a wide variety of weaknesses, and each fight didn't feel like the two of us were getting bullied anymore.
You gotta admit, it's fun just popping legendaries now that we can actually fight back.
Most team members at this point in the journey were finally starting to blossom as Pokemon, and were all valuable members of the team who didn't feel like dead weight. With the TM for Fly in hand, even Ho-Oh finally came into his own and started pulling his weight.
Birds eat the bugs.
There you go. I taught her how to do that.
You did?
I know I did my fair share of complaining about him, but now that he had a good move, I really enjoyed having him around.
What did he hit you with?
Wing attack.
How many Swords Dances did he get up?
2.
That's +4. Swords Dance is +2 attack.
I didn't know he was faster.
He outsped you too?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, what do you have that's faster than him? Do you have anything with like quick attack or anything?
I don't know.
Oh no. Okay. Maybe Jafar can outspeed? I just lost my my Magneton. Oh no. Okay. Well, you gotta figure this out. So, who's faster than Apollo? Look at Apollo's stats. 78 speed. Press up and down. Okay.
90.
Jafar outspeeds. No. No. Okay. So it's Jafar.
Yeah.
You got to Jafar and you just click what's it called? Because it never misses. So the double teams don't matter.
The psychic?
Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Because it never misses.
I went first, okay.
Ah. So, well, we gotta get through this fight first.
You get through your fight. Get through your fight.
We'll go to the box. We'll figure this out. You served me well, friend. I will miss you.
I can't believe I lost my hoe again. And right when he was being okay-ish.
If Ho had a fire move worth a damn, that wouldn't have happened. So it's not your fault, it's Ho-Oh's fault.
With the loss of our once mighty pair, we were again back at the drawing board trying to figure out our team setup. After looking over the pairs, we realized there wasn't really that much we could do. Freeing up room for an electric type meant I could finally use my Raikou, but since it was linked to a grass type, we had to remove another pair to make it work. I needed more muscle on my team, so we begrudgingly made the swap, but neither of us were thrilled to be back down to such a small group.
So we have to roll with 4 pairs for a little bit.
We hadn't really encountered many fire types to replace Ho, and of course the ones we did were linked to common types like water and normal. That's when we remembered something important though.
Do you have a flying? I could potentially turn Eevee into something.
Well, Delibird is ice, so yeah, you could turn Eevee into... You have a water and electric type, so you could only really turn it into Flareon.
It would answer grass.
So we did manage to get back to 5 pairs. Granted, it was more like 4.5 since Delibird was basically just for him to fly around on, but nonetheless, it still counted.
In our time of greatest need, a hero emerged, and it's just little Delibird.
While I was busy running around trying to figure out which floor of the department store sells Firestones, he was quick to drown out the pain of losing his favorite team member in the only way he knew how, the casino.
I'm just at the casino gambling my feelings away over the loss of my Magneton, and then I noticed that the slots have Magnemites on them, and my heart shatters.
Somewhere during the time between me finding a Firestone and leveling Eevee up to match the rest of the team, he hit enough jackpots to get a quirky idea.
I like that like after the loss of that Ho-Oh, we're gonna go into like our gambling addiction arc. Oh! That's what I'm talking about, girl.
He was mostly joking, but coins can actually be exchanged for Pokemon at the prize window. Out of curiosity, he decided to pop in and see what was on offer in the hopes that by some miracle we'd be able to buy our way to finally having a full team of 6 pairs.
Scizor!
Oh my god, that would be so good.
Okay, what can we pair Scizor with? Come on.
Bullshit.
Steel.
We could do Steel.
Scizor's Steel is what? Is he's Bug Steel though, right?
I think so.
Wait, so the 2 most expensive ones can be paired?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
We have to gamble so much. But we could get
That would be
we could
hilarious,
actually
though.
get a new pair.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
If we come back, are they the same?
Yeah, they don't change. They're static. So I have to get 9,999 coins.
Same here, though.
No. Yours. Oh? What's yours? Leaf green. The prices are different. Yeah, you have to get 6,500. I have to get 9. to get
Damn!
the count.
I have a good one.
Okay, well, we're doing it.
We're doing it. This is our gambling arc.
Welcome to the gambling arc. We're in the money. Oh yeah, we have a team of 6 because of that. That's the whole reason we got into this crazy mess in the first place.
So for the first time this playthrough, we finally had our full team of 6. Well, at least I did anyway. It was more like 5.5 thanks to Delibird. But if nothing else, DD was there to provide moral support as well as help fly him around.
Christmas came early, Taryn.
It's safe to say at this point in the playthrough, we hit our stride. We breezed through Sabrina's battle, and Blaine didn't stand much of a chance either.
Well, that was short-lived.
I
See you later,
used
Blaine.
5 psychics.
We didn't really catch any other pairs of note, but it didn't matter to be honest. We only had one more badge left to go, and as we walked through the doors of Giovanni's gym, we were feeling on top of the world for possibly the first time in this entire game.
A Ho-Oh.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what
Ow.
I'm gonna do.
Zap it.
Oh, I got something better than that.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry it had to end this way.
Oh my god. Throwing rocks at the birds.
been throwing rocks at birds since you were knee-high, Taryn.
Yeah.
A Kadabra. I'm just gonna stay in. I'm having fun with Tyranitar. Oh shit. Oh shit.
I didn't know that was a thing that happened.
No, Taryn! That was my Tyranitar! Fuck! Oh, Taryn, I was having so much fun with Tyranitar just now.
Oh!
Oh no. I really liked that Tyranitar.
Oh my god.
The sad thing is, we lost probably one of our best pairs to a trainer on the way to Giovanni. Not even the big bad himself. I'm pretty sure it was a completely optional fight as well, but it's neither here nor there. As has been pretty consistent compared to his lackeys, Giovanni was a complete joke.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop, we beat Giovanni.
Somehow we managed to beat Giovanni and his unbeatable Raichu.
Rather than doing the responsible thing and desalinating a little bit after the loss of my boyfriend's favorite team member, we went straight to the Indigo Plateau. No longer willing to face more heartache, neither of us were in the mood to catch any more encounters.
We do have two final encounters technically as well. So you never know, we might get that 6th team member after all. It's just me, like, in denial. I could have to go in with 4 Pokemon.
Fueled by the bitterness and disappointment of our most recent loss, we decided we were going to finish what we started, and we were going to do it tonight.
We've done the math, I've run the calcs. There's just no universe where we can make a full team of 6 because we have too many normal and water types.
With what was left of our team of 5, or more affectionately, our team of 4.5, we battle our way to the top of Victory Road with nothing left to lose.
What?
Repel's effect wore off like right as I
God
walked in.
damn it.
Alright, let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
A Linoon. What are we afraid of? It's a Linoon.
Sunkern.
Burn it. It's like the weakest Pokemon in existence.
Oh yeah, this guy. I'm about to flamethrower this.
I'm feeling really good about this so far.
So far, so good.
Look at that. One shot's a Blissey with Slash. I'm telling you.
So good.
We're in the money. There you go. See ya, Lorelei. Hoo-ha!
Hoo-ha.
A Lombre. Okay.
Cyndaquil. Get out
I think we faced all the hard Pokemon the entire way here, and now they're just like, yeah, here's where all the easy ones were hiding.
I sure hope so.
In the Elite Four.
So should I Psychic it or Psybeam it?
You might be able to get away with the Psybeam.
Okay. Yeah, I'd really like to save the Psychics.
Man, this Illumise is dangerous. Can you snap out? Can you snap out? Oh no. How much is that gonna do? That didn't do too much.
Nick.
What just happened?
He one-shot me with the Sludge Bomb.
Oh my god, you should have just gone for the Psych. That's Latios! Alright, we're gonna figure it out. I'll use Shears.
I'm so upset because I was trying to save the Psychics to be able to have them
to
to
use
use.
later, and then you end up
and then I ended
losing
up just
it anyways.
losing everything.
Not only do I only have 4, I only had 4 Pokemon, but Latios had Water, Electric, and Psychic. So I have no coverage. I don't have any special attacks anymore.
I know.
Okay, that was Bruno. Okay, I think I'm gonna lead. I'm gonna lead Scyther. Hope it's not a fire type and just start setting up some easy Pokemon, please.
Please.
Some easy ones, please. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's not easy at all. I'm actually weak to that, so fire bodies everyone but Miltank. Maybe a para? Hey, a crit. It's even better than a para. Use used a lot more items than I would have liked to, but whatever's. It's okay. 2 trainers to go. We got this.
We fought together once.
In 2 years, we will. Okay, Lance. What you got for me? A Psyduck. Okay, I'll take that.
Butterfree. No. No! Crawdus! Destiny Bond!
He has a fire type. I'm screwed.
Fuck.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. And I just was like, I was just sitting there like, man, all we have is 1 fight left. Like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Oh. Okay, so Skim is gone.
Yeah.
The Pokemon that my boyfriend had left all shared a common weakness, being that they were all extremely flammable. Of the 17 types in existence, the only one Scizor is weak to is fire. That meant we had to keep our fingers crossed that of the champion's 6 Pokemon, none were a fire type.
I literally have Baby Bach and Shears because DDD is just here. And all 3 of those are weak to fire. I have to set up and just sweep and hope a fire type doesn't come out, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, I have to put it to sleep with Baby Bach. That's the play.
Throughout this entire playthrough, we've had dozens and dozens of encounters, and fire types were few and far between. We just had to hope and pray that that trend didn't change now.
Alright, here we go. I'm a little nervous.
Me too.
I'm a little nervous.
Electric.
Dunsparce. Okay, we can work with that. No! Oh, I just got paralyzed. Please, not something scary. You're kidding me. And now I can't outspeed because of the para. I don't know what to do.
This was it, our worst nightmare. After setting up 3 sword stances and 3 iron defenses with a Scizor, Fate decided that he had to get paralyzed right before our rival sent out a fire type. To add salt to the wound, it just happened to be my favorite Pokemon and the very one he knocked out at the beginning of the game.
I'm feeling a little guilty, so I'm just gonna walk to the next town over. I'm not sure what to do. If I switch out, I lose my +6 attack and defense. But I'm switching out into something that's weak to fire as well. I'm quad weak to fire though, so I know it's gonna fire blast me. My only hope was really to try to kill it before I could do that.
Right.
You know things are bad when he's the one asking me for help. With no options left, all there was to do was stand his ground and keep fighting to the bitter end.
I can go to Baby Bach and try to sleep powder it, but I don't know if I'm bulky enough to live a fire blast. I just had to get paralyzed, didn't I? Crap. It uses bounce. Interesting. It doesn't have fire blast yet.
Somehow, even at level 61, a pure fire type hasn't learned a single fire type move yet. That's right, you heard that correct. We may have cursed them earlier, but the garbage Gen 3 movesets came through in the end to save our asses.
I think it's gonna outspeed me no matter what, so I just need to go for Slash. Do I test Fate? Do we test Fate? Let's just go for Slash. Okay, it's still asleep. It does outspeed me. Oh, okay, but the Leech Seed. Oh! Thank God for the Leech Seed. Is that his ace, or does he have a higher level? I feel like there's a 63. This is his ace. This is level 63. Good lord. Nice job, Shears. Nice. You were worth every coin in the game, Corner. He's sending out a Parasect.
So now Skitty.
I wish I could be you right now. Oh god. I'm cleaning up. I'm done. Yeah, go ahead and full restore all you want, Not Girl. I don't even care at this point. I played around your bouncing Rapidash We can thank the Gen 3 movesets for that Rapidash not wiping me out, Terran, because Rapidash does not learn a fire-type move until level 63, and his was level 61.
Damn.
Oh yeah, just finish it with a crit, Guilford.
Finish it with a crit in
God,
style.
Guilford's like, enough of this bullshit. Look at this pair, though, Terran. We gambled for this pair.
They saved our ass.
We wouldn't have been able to do it without these two, honestly.
Nope.
I'm so glad we did that.
Me too.
It was worth the, like, hours of slots. We did it!
There were so many times where it looked like we weren't going to.
And just like that, our first couples Nuzlocke ended in success. The road to victory certainly got rocky in some places, but no matter how difficult things got, our souls remain linked from start to finish. As far as his Grandmaster plan is concerned, things definitely didn't play out exactly how he was expecting them to.
All I'm gonna say is that I didn't lose a single Pokemon during the Elite Four, and I walked in with one less competitive Pokemon than you did, Terran.
Oh no.
Not that it's a competition, but
We're supposed to be a team.
So by the end of our playthrough, the final death tally was my boyfriend lost 1 pair and I lost 7. I know that sounds bad, but all I'm gonna say is that I didn't lose all of them.
I lost your Magneton. I lost my Jafar, which was linked to
my
your
Latias,
Latias.
you
I
lost
lost
my
all our-
Miltank,
I lost your Tyranitar.
you lost my Tyranitar,
I lost all your aces.
and yet we still prevailed, Terran.
Do you still love me?
There's one pair that is unbreakable, Terran.
Damn straight. Damn straight.